started off when Bosch invited us. They have a few supplier days in other countries, like in China, they have it once a month. And they were trying to organize one in Malaysia. But they also had the opinion that in many of the companies that we buy from overseas, the volume is not very large. And they actually want the suppliers to be located near to them in Malaysia. But sometimes when the volume is not very large, it does not excite the suppliers enough to come over here. So they had the idea that, when they discussed with us, if we were to group more companies, MNCs here, and we looked at a few products, not all the products, a few common products, maybe if they would consolidate their purchases, we will be able to excite some of the foreign suppliers to come over here. So that's why this event got started. And so we invited a few more MNCs, and we are hoping that if this one is successful, we can initiate more events like this in the next year. So this event, we had almost about 40 foreign and local suppliers, about 20 foreign suppliers are here. These suppliers are all invited by the MNCs themselves, so each of them would invite a few of the suppliers, and then they would showcase the products that they are going to try to get to localize or try to purchase. And afterwards, in the business matching session afterwards, and from there, we also invited some local suppliers to showcase their product. And we're hoping that, one, we could interest some of the foreigners to come and set up base here, or to do some JV or technological business partnership with the local suppliers. So, and this is actually quite good for us, because a lot of times when we go in overseas to try to attract foreign suppliers, first of all, when we go, it's a cost for us. But here, when they all come, it's actually we are able to reduce our costs going to so many countries to visit so many suppliers. At the same time, when the suppliers come, they can actually see for themselves the vibrancy of the manufacturing sector here. So if they could stay for a couple of days, they could visit the site. So today we have, after business matching, we also have a visit for them to the industrial park. I say this is the first event that we're having actually. When we spoke to some of the companies, they say maybe if we could consolidate more MNCs and get them to participate, it could be an event that could benefit the industries, because we can have more of the foreign suppliers come here. We are hoping that after this, next year we could do one for the medical device. So this is basically for the EAD sector. And the next sector we want to go to is the medical device. Okay. So the companies that are here today are from Bosch.
Yes, well, actually, indeed, it started as a very small idea to think about how to attract more suppliers here to Penang. And we as Bosch Bauhaus, we are a global player, so our customers are sitting worldwide, so we're not producing only for Malaysia. Naturally, we cannot move our customers easily. But if we want to work on our supply chain to reduce overall costs, then we have to look at the other end. So we have to look at our supplier base. And while having quite a few suppliers already established in Penang, we still source quite a bit from abroad, and then especially China. And that's why we looked at our supplier base in China to see, can we attract these suppliers here to come here to Malaysia. And I'm very happy that we are not alone here now, but my colleagues from the other companies joining in this common effort, because only if we join together here in Penang, we getting a larger base, a larger customer base for the suppliers. And now we are becoming attractive for investments. And I think that the overwhelming response shows that this will be a successful way. So I really hope that not only the morning session is successful, especially the business matching sessions in the afternoon will also bring the results we hope for. Thank you very much.
Rather than opportunistic, and as Motra has been here for about 40 years, we have over the years have had established local supplier bases extremely well, and they're continuing to grow with us. But at the same time, one of the things that are happening in the electronics industries, and I'm sure my colleague Lars would also agree on that, the growth and the technology movements are much greater in the electronics world and many other industries and so forth. So one of the things when Lillian came up with this idea, we felt very good about it in the sense that how do we attract more external international supplies, especially in Taiwan and China, to Penang, and also probably bringing some of these new high technologies or latest technologies into the States. More importantly is that I think for many years we've had this idea of creating an ecosystem within the state here. Extremely important, and most of us here have not just got a manufacturing base, we have a fairly established R&D base too. So how do you create the ecosystem, how do you work on new technologies, and also start moving some of our suppliers more from a manufacturing into more of design and development. And that's the reason that we are very excited to be here with our partners and see how we can have the business matching and bring more suppliers into the state.
Agree, concur, and support the idea of building the ecosystem here, so that all our peers, all the companies in Penang can leverage on the local supply chain and make everybody in Penang more competitive and more attractive. Thank you.
Compare with the rest of the partners over here, we actually set up in 2012 on our manufacturing plant in Patumau. And from that day onwards, we actually have our R&D centers over here beside the corporate's R&D centers. So in terms of supply chain support, what we are actually looking at in not only on material supports, but also on research and development support from the local suppliers over here that could actually help us to bring our operation up to level with what we have in the States. So that's the key reason why we actually participate in the Invest Penang events, and we're actually looking forward for more of such events that could actually help our companies grow as our partners over here. Thank you.
From companies and investment, MIDA has been promoting this ecosystem since many years ago. We started with clustering approach, and now we are the same approach, but we change it a bit because when we talk about cluster, we will refer to locations. But when we refer to ecosystem, it doesn't mean that it has to be suppliers from Penang alone, because Malaysia is a small country. You can reach southern to northern within one day. So the emphasis on promoting ecosystem is very very important, because whatever strength that we have now, we should leverage, we should strengthen, and we give more attention to build up local capabilities, because we have a few companies already that have successful become local, we call it Malaysian MNC. Yeah? So we hope to nurture more, and therefore we introduced the ISF. Maybe most of you are aware. This is Domestic Investment Strategic Fund, where dedicated to local companies to utilize. And we encourage the local companies to increase capabilities to automation, because we have issue with manpower, as mentioned by Yamak Muhammad just now. And because of this automation, we will need skilled workers, knowledge workers to handle this kind of technology. So we hope the industry will, respond to the government initiative, federal government, state government. We promote this ecosystem approach to ensure that the industry will at least sustain and grow further. That is our mission, actually, to ensure it will remain the most important industry in Malaysia.
I think all Malaysians are a bit worried about, which is our currency depreciation, the price of oil and things like that. Do you think it's something that Penang also has to be worried about?
So I think you look at it could be a crisis situation for Malaysia as a whole. But I think like what the Chinese word for crisis signifies, that behind every crisis there's always opportunities. So again, I stress on opportunities, not opportunism, because there's a difference, a very big difference between opportunities and opportunism. So I stress again on opportunities. So for I think industries, they have to adjust to this new change. And I think most important of all, if we stick to what I mentioned in my speech, the three key ingredients, which is honesty, diligence, and relentless and vigorous pursuit of excellence, I think you'll be able to manage these changes. As I said, once you can manage these changes, then you should fully take advantage fully of the opportunities available. Of course, when we talk about this falling currency, because of the falling global prices, Malaysia's appreciation, Malaysia's currency has taken a knock. But at the same time, the drop in currency, of course, makes it more expensive for imports, especially when you go overseas. But still, you'll be able to sell your exports cheaper. So there are both pros and cons. Now, how do you manage it? How do you ride this cycle? I think this is important. And again, I say we go back to the basics. Basics is always this: honesty, diligence, and relentless pursuit of excellence. And if we do that, then we are able to attract investors to come on, because the overriding concern always is this, that whether we are able to produce products or goods with the right sort of quality. I mean, pricing is important, but quality is also. I think in Penang, our suppliers and our companies have shown that we can definitely produce goods and products which are of superior quality. Now, I'll go back to the example I mentioned just now. I'm not going to mention about E&O or the hotel, straight ski, or what we can offer, but I just talk about spice. Spice run down, dilapidated, almost abandoned. Then the transformation happened. Why? Because we decided to adopt international norms. Honesty, diligence, and pursuit of excellence. And one way to adopt international norms, of course, is the open competitive standards. Choose the best person. And look at the spice now. For those who have seen spice, you know how different spice is. Number one. Number two, of course, the other aspect is in terms of management. How it's been fully utilized. And many people tell me that the management is world class. So this again is a testimony of what we can offer. Superior quality, superior service. That's why we are not afraid to ask world class suppliers to come to Penang. I think this is crucial.